Welcome all to the Snail Trail 4x4 podcast. If you like going off-roading in Toyotas, wrenching on Toyotas, camping in Toyotas, and maybe even poking a little bit of fun at Toyotas, and of course, hearing about how great cherry trees are, then this is the podcast for you. People get that at the end of the episode. Oh, man. My name is
PG-13.
Tyler. PG-13. Earmuffs for all the kiddos out there for today's joke. My name's Tyler. And joining me again for another fun episode of Snail Trail 4x4 podcast is Mr. Jimmy Jett. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing well. Thank you. How are you?
Doing pretty good.
You're not stressed?
I'm beyond whatever stressed is. I'm just, I don't know. I'm elated. Is that a good word?
That's a big word. I don't even know what that word means.
I'm probably in the best mood right now that I've been in all year long.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's because you got the Forerunner back?
Because I got Kermit back.
Yeah. Nice. We'll
so
talk about that in a
good.
little bit for sure.
Uh-huh. Husband went with me.
Did he?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
He made me come over and kidnap him. So
Sweet.
Yeah, we'll get into that later. Yeah, there's a lot going on that's fucking awesome.
Nice. Exciting.
So let's see here. This is a Thursday episode.
Yes, it is.
That means we get to talk about what we've been up to.
Yep.
We got some updates for y'all. It is September.
Yes,
Jesus
that is also
Christ.
true. I know this year is flying.
Dude, I know like as you get older, year and time seems to go by faster.
Yeah.
But it literally feels like it should be like April, maybe May. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just weird.
This week feels like May.
It does. Yeah. Yeah. The
It's
weather.
like all 90 to 92 degrees.
Mm-hmm.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
A little hot for you. I understand.
It's a little on the hot side still for me.
I think it's perfect.
And I'm still recovering from my burn, but.
Ooh, I got burnt this weekend.
Did you?
Oh, yeah.
About time, Mr. Italian. Oh, it looks like you were wearing a tube top.
No, that's just the shadow of my boob.
Oh, if only we had a video going for everybody.
My back's pretty bad too.
Really?
But it was funny because it's only my lower back. My upper back, where everywhere I can reach on my upper back is I had sunscreen.
That's what my sunburn on my back looked like from Sierra Trek, because it was just like down the side of my back, and then the other side there was like that almost like a hourglass in on my back.
That's how I usually describe my shape too.
Hourglass,
Yeah.
like nice. Anyways, let's see updates for this month, because we are in a new month now. We have not pulled a winner from last month yet for the Spartan Rope Soft Shackle Receiver Hitch.
No, we have not.
But we do have a giveaway lined up for this month for you guys. We have a nice little collection of some gear wrench tools and gadgets. So fun thing, kind of made my day. I don't know. I sent it to you.
Yeah, this was really awesome.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. This was an outstanding outreach by a gear wrench individual.
Yes. He's one of the project engineers,
Right. Yeah.
for the bolt biters at Gear Wrench and Apex Tools. And he apparently listens to the podcast.
Yeah.
He heard that we were talking about the new bolt biter sockets, what are those called? The bolt biter inserts that we got in from Gear Wrench from the marketing team. And we were sad that we didn't get two. And so we were going to have to fight over this one. And he ended up sending us another set with this really cool letter, and talking about some of his off-road rigs that he has, and how we're slowly converting him over to Toyotas.
That's true. Also, I remember that part.
Mm-hmm. So shout out to Gear Wrench, and as a thank you for that, and just kind of it just made our day getting that. We're going to do some Gear Wrench products here for the giveaway for the month of September.
Yeah, we've got a few bolt biters in lieu of that celebration and awesomeness from them. We're doing the 15-piece. This is the 1/4 inch and 3/8 drive ones. These go from like 1/4 inch extractor to a 19-inch extractor.
19 inch?
Wow. Yeah, 19 inch. 19 millimeter or 3/4 inch.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Yeah. In a hard shell case, so it's really easy to carry with you. You don't have to have it on a rail or anything like I do in my shop. We got the bolt biter extractor for the screws, the screw extractor set. This is the 10-piece. So it has the extractors and the exact drill bits that you need for the extractors.
Mm-hmm.
And then the item that's not a bolt biter, but it's a really cool item, is the ratcheting T-handle set.
Yeah, that one's cool.
33 pieces. It's got a whole bunch of Torx bits. It's got hex keys, Phillips heads, flat heads, square drives, bigger or short and long hex heads. It's got a whole bunch of them. It's also in a hard shell case. So all these are really cool little kits, and they're all great kits that you could throw into your bags that you take out on the trail with you.
So about $200 value this month.
Yeah.
In some Gear Wrench tools.
Around there. Close to that for sure.
Mm-hmm. If you guys want to get signed up for a chance to win these, make sure you go over to irate4x4.com and get signed up for the giveaway tier, which is the $10 tier there. Once you get signed up, you get a free entry into the drawing for the month. And then we're looking at getting out the gift boxes here towards the end of the month. So everybody on the gift box tier, be on the lookout. We'll be shipping those probably near the end of the month. We're still waiting on one item, Mr. Rerim, and
2 items, really.
I guess 2. And we'll get all those out for you guys, which also means that starting October 1st, and we're going to start announcing this early, about a month ahead here, the gift box tier will be reopening for the month of October.
Yeah.
So
that's exciting news. So get ready to move over if you want, or leave if that's something you're considering. This gift box is going to be a lot of fun. If you have yet listened to, I think it was Wheeling Wine and Whiskey's previous episode, not this week's, but the one before, Jason and Chris did allude to what we were doing in the gift box.
Those bastards.
Yeah. But we are teaming up with Wheeling Wine and Whiskey on this one. So the cat's out of the bag a little bit there. So I'll leave it there. We're working with Wheeling Wine and Whiskey where we have some fun stuff going on with this gift box, and we worked with them to create it. So it's going to be a lot of fun. We'll also have the giveaway for the Yokohama tires going on.
That's right.
Which is on our reviews. Every review that comes in gets you eligible to win a set of Yokohama tires. So big thanks to Yokohama for sponsoring that. We're over 550 reviews, but once we get to 600 reviews, we're going to send out a swag pack to a lucky individual. And then at 650, we're sending out a swag pack. 700, we're sending out a swag pack. And 750, we're giving away some tires.
Yeah, buddy. The 40s that all the MFers ended up getting.
Yeah.
They all the tires are in, and they're starting to put them on vehicles now. So
okay.
Ozzy's Jeep, he has a well, I guess his wife has a JL, and he just put the 40s on the JL, and it looks so good.
It is here in the shop.
Yeah.
And this might be the second time I've ever said that there's a Jeep that looks good.
It looks good. I'm impressed with it. So I don't like driving it. I don't want to ride in it.
Yeah.
But it does look good.
It has some nice decals on the side. That's what makes it look fantastic.
Amazing. Yeah, we were kind of saying that the only thing that looks good on that rig is the decals and the tires. Yeah.
And some of those metal cloak brackets.
A couple of them, yeah. They're shiny. So anyways, we got those on. It sounds like MFR Ryan is getting close to finishing up his rig.
Ooh, fun.
So he's going to have the 40s, and it's going to be like a mini Kermit. It's going to be a little tadpole.
It'll be Kermit as like 5 months ago.
Yeah, pretty much. It's going to be pretty funny. They'll have 40s there. MFR Sean got his rig up and running. It fired up.
Yes, I didn't hear that. Congratulations, Sean.
Yeah. So he'll have 40s as well. So we're just pretty much going to have like the parking lot full of rigs on 40s here.
I'm going to be the lone soldier on 37s, huh? Wow.
It's okay. You can still park on everybody.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Yeah. So anyways, Yokohama tires for $750. So if you guys want a set, because they are really impressive. Ozzy was saying how he loves the tire. It's a really low road noise. It drives great at 80 miles an hour and handles awesome. I was like, yeah, that's one of the reasons why we like the tires so much. Just make sure you get over and leave a review over on iTunes or Apple Podcasts.
Whatever it's called
nowadays. So let's see. I think that's most of all the housekeeping stuff.
Okay.
We're going to pick some winners and do the FNGs and birthdays and everything next Thursday. And that's all I got, I think.
Sounds good. Yeah.
Cool.
Should we push people off Patreon so we don't have to wait so long?
I'd like to. I think we just shut down Patreon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll do it when the gift box tier opens. So maybe we'll start warning people now.
Yeah.
So if you're listening to this and you're on Patreon, I'll probably message you guys, but we're probably going to shut down Patreon.
Yeah.
And move everybody, all like the rest of you, six of you, whatever it is. Maybe it's a little bit more than that, but not much. We're going to, I'll message everybody on Patreon and get you guys to know that we're going to close that down so that we don't have to wait these extra days to do these giveaways. Is the primary reason. Plus we have a little bit more control on the irate side of it. So. Okay, let's do that.
So that'll be at the end of October once we shut down the gift box tier. Is that when you want to do it, or do you want to do it when we open the gift box tier? That way people can switch over if they need to.
We'll close it down in October.
Okay, sometime in October.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that way you have your chance to sign up on
the gift box tier
for the gift box tier if you want to move over there.
Okay.
I do think most of the people that are on irate though are only on the $5 tier. So
okay.
I don't know if they're in the gift box tier anyway. All right. Sounds good. Let's do that. So I'll make a note of that, shutting down Patreon sometime in October. Cool.
What have you been up to? Hey, that almost rhymed.
What you been up to?
What you been up to, man?
Well, let's see. So since the last time we recorded, I went up to the Rubicon.
That's right.
Yeah.
You had a fun trip and got to be a B-list celebrity amongst some A-list celebrities.
I don't know about that. I think I was still an E-list celebrity. I don't, actually.
Were people coming up and being like, oh my God, Jimmy Chet, run right by Nate?
No. But when I was hanging out with them, people were like, hey, I know you. You're on YouTube also, aren't you?
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that was kind of funny. But let's see. So I knew our good buddy Nate from Dirt Lifestyle was going to be up on the Rubicon, and our buddy Kelly with Muddy Beards was going to be up there as well. One of Nate's friends. We've had them both on the podcast before. One of the King of the Hammers episodes. So go back about a year.
I really want to sit down and have a one-on-one interview with Kelly.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Because I remember when we were interviewing him, it was really like Max, Powell, and Nate in the trailer, and Kelly was there too.
Yeah.
And then we started talking a little bit with Kelly, and we're like, oh my God, you did this and you did that. And you did that. And you did. I was like, what the hell?
You're
Where'd
an
you come
ASE
from?
certified mechanic.
Yeah. And a musician as well.
Right.
And I don't know. He just seems like he has a very colorful background. I want to learn more about his story.
Yeah, he's a good guy for sure. So I towed Bobcat up to Tahoma.
Okay.
I took the mini assistant to school, and then I drove over to the shop. I loaded a Bobcat up, drove up to Tahoma, and unloaded. And it was a pretty uneventful drive in. I think there was 2 groups of 3 rigs that I passed going the opposite directions on the way in. One of them was above Cadillac. One of them was just outside the Springs. It took me 2 minutes and 15 or 2 hours and 15 minutes to get to the Springs from Tahoma.
Okay. That's pretty good.
It's not bad. Yeah, that's a pretty decent time. And I got down to the bottom, and there was a group at the Pine Camp out on the slabs. And I looked over there, and I didn't notice any rigs.
Okay. And
then I continued on, and there was nobody else anywhere that I saw down in the Rubicon Springs.
Okay.
So I went to the caretaker's house, and I forgot Mark's wife's name.
Oh my God, I forget her name too. No, it's not
Marion.
Mary?
Mary? It's
Mark and Mary? That doesn't sound right.
It starts with an M also.
Eminem.
I want to say it's Madeline, but I don't think that's it.
That doesn't sound right. But anyways, so Mark's the lady caretaker.
Yeah, the wife, the caretaker wife there. I asked her, I was like, have you seen a neon orange Land Cruiser go by?
With a bunch of stickers on it.
With a bunch of stickers on it. And she's like, I haven't, but I don't see everybody that goes by. And I said, okay, well, I guess I'll just continue up the trail. I haven't seen them yet either. She's like, okay, have fun. So I went back to my rig, and I was going to make myself a sandwich real quick because it was just afternoon and I hadn't eaten. And when I reached into my phone, my food bin, I started hearing rigs coming down the trail.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, well, I'll just wait. So I grabbed an apple, started eating an apple, and then a Toyota pulled up. I was like, okay. And then another Toyota pulled up, and then another Toyota pulled up. And I'm like, hey, did you guys see a neon orange Land Cruiser back there? And they're like, oh yeah, Nate. Yeah, he's with us.
Oh,
I'm like, okay, cool. He's like, but he's a ways back there. I'm like, oh no, is there a problem? He's like, no, he stopped to try and help a TJ.
Oh,
I was like,
what a guy.
And
the Toyota guy just left.
I don't know.
That's funny.
I think they were all the ones that were in the front had a kid.
Gotcha.
And so I think they were just like, I want to get the kid to camp.
Probably just get the kid to camp and get the campsites.
Yeah.
Because that was Friday, Thursday?
That was Thursday.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I hung out there for a while, talked to the Toyota guys. They eventually figured out that they're going to go to camp. And I was like, okay, well, I'm going to wheel up the trail. So I started driving up the trail and I went through camp and then I went up that cliff area, went through the pinch rock and then hopped out at that ledge where I almost flopped it.
Mm-hmm. I was going to ask if you got it this time. You got the right line this time?
So I hopped out and looked at it and I went a way that I haven't gone before.
Huh.
More or less, I went down the middle.
You just straddled the hump?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, it didn't work that great.
Oh,
but
okay.
I thought it would have been a little better. But yeah, I sort of just straddled the hump and went down. But I think it still hit my diffs.
Okay.
Because the drop offs are so extreme that I was still kind of on the diff.
It's like two V notches.
Yeah, kind of.
And you kind of either have to straddle one or the other. And it's very obvious how to do it when you're coming from that side, coming into camp. But as you're leaving camp, you can't see.
There's no visual.
You can't see where the hell it is. So I always, when coming out of camp, I put my just driver tire right on the hump in the middle. And I'm just like, that's where I'm in.
Yeah. So, but that worked on the way down. And then, I think after that is the squeeze rock.
Yeah.
Sorry. So, because then I started turning the corner and then here comes Nate through that area.
Okay.
And I don't think he's ever seen my rig before.
Okay.
If he besides maybe Instagram or something, but he didn't recognize it out on the trail. So I pulled over and he was kind of like, he kind of gave me the wave, like, thanks for pulling over. And then he got closer and then he recognized who I was and he was like, oh, hey, how you doing? It's like, what are you doing? I was hoping you'd come out. What are you doing? And I was like, yeah, I wanted to come say hi to you guys.
Yeah.
And so he's like, cool. Well, meet my friend Richard. And he had this guy in the passenger seat. I'm like, hey, Richard. And he's like, yeah, his TJ broke down and I'm going to get him out of here. Nice. I'm like, oh, damn. Okay. Come to find out, for the most part, that the TJ ripped a bunch of brackets off of the frames.
Mm-hmm.
He had a Dana 30 front. He was pretty much running on stock tires. I think he said they were like 32s.
Jeez.
He was aired down to 14.
In a TJ? Which is nothing.
Yeah. I was like, ooh, you could probably go a little lower than that. Jumping forward here a little bit, when he jumped into my rig, he was telling me all the stuff he did. And he rebuilt the motor. He put a new transmission in there. Changed it from the automatic to a manual, did a new T-case. Like he did some work, but he didn't
do the rock crawling work.
He didn't do the rock crawling work.
Yeah.
He made it very, very reliable on the street.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so he got to the top of Big Sluice and had torn a bunch of things apart.
Oh, he was at the top of Big Sluice. Okay. There was another rig from that weekend that was in the bowl and had very similar. It was a Dana 30, ripped a bunch of brackets off in the bowl and needed to be towed out through Gatekeeper.
Yeah, he was all the way on the other side.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so Kelly and Nate helped him get down. We're going to be like, let's get you to the Rubicon Springs, They got him down Big Sluice. So you head down Big Sluice and there's like that little rocky ledge.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the really big rocks that you have to drive over before the U-turn pretty much.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And he said everything we did was just making the suspension worse. They were doing like multiple ratchet straps to hold things in place, like crossing them.
Did they not have a welder?
No.
Really?
I don't think so.
Nate doesn't travel with a welder? That's surprising to me.
I don't know if they did not use a welder. I don't know if they had a welder.
Okay.
So they got it got him over those rocks, but he said it was just bad. So I think they parked him on the far side of the U in the big open area and just left him there. And then he hopped in with Nate.
Okay.
And then I ran into him down at the springs. So then we went to the springs. We talked for a little bit and there were some Toyota guys there. And then we wheeled on. They went to the slabs, but there's a camp spot right before the slabs. Anyways, they went to that first pool, the shallow pool.
Yep.
All ate lunch there, figured out where they wanted to go and camp, and pretty much they decided they wanted to camp at Dirty Dozen.
Okay.
Because the other group took the Pine Camp.
Gotcha.
So they all ate lunch, started relaxing, hanging out, and then Nate was like, I'm going to wheel Richard all the way to Tahoma and take him out of here so that he could call friends and get stuff that needs to order parts and do whatever he needs to do. And then I was like, well, I was only planning on doing a day trip today anyway, so I'll wheel out with you.
Nice.
So, and then Kelly came along and they decided that this would be a good opportunity for them because they were going to film Cadillac.
Oh, cool.
So then they could drive up and then drive back down. And then the next day when they wheeled out with the group, they wouldn't have to film.
Yeah.
So we wheeled out to Cadillac. They set up a drone and some other cameras on the rigs and wheeled through Cadillac. And we got once we get to the big sharp hairpin turn to go up, I was like, hey, Nate, do you actually know where the Cadillac is? He's like, no, I don't.
Oh, cool.
And I was like, okay, we'll go up past these big boulders. And once you get to the kind of flat spot right after the tree, stop.
Just stop there. Yeah.
Yeah. And so we wheeled up there and then I was like, there it is. And he's like, oh shit.
The LaSalle.
Yeah. Is that what it is?
Yep.
A LaSalle. Okay.
Yep.
I tried to remember because I was like, everybody calls it a Cadillac, but it's not actually a Cadillac.
Yeah.
And I couldn't remember what it was.
But Cadillac bought LaSalle, didn't they?
I think so.
Yeah.
That's, I think, what Merlin or John said.
Yeah.
So I think he did catch me. He like asked me a question. He's like, hey, this is Jimmy. He's sort of a local around here, and he was showing me the Cadillac on Cadillac Hill. And then he's like, how does it, tell us the story about this? And I believe I said, it's not actually a Cadillac. I don't remember what it is, but it's not a Cadillac. I think I said it might've been an Eldorado.
No.
And then I said, but a lot of people think people launched this off of Observation Point, but that's not actually the case. This was driven down to the springs back when you could drive these cars down to the springs, and something happened to it. It either broke or went off the trail, or, it got off the trail somehow. They pushed it off the trail, one or the other. And then it just sat here, and the two boys that were driving it never came back for it.
Yep.
And then it's sat here ever since.
Yeah.
And
there's a really cool picture that popped up on the Rubicon Gazette Facebook page that Tim Green kind of put together for history of Rubicon and old pictures and stuff.
Oh, cool.
There's a picture from like the 1950s, 1960s of the LaSalle there in its position with the full body and everything.
Oh, wow.
Right there on the side of the hill where it sits now. But like when we've seen it, it's just the frame and a couple of leaf springs.
Yeah.
And,
nothing.
Yeah.
We were looking all around it, trying to find a VIN plate or some sort of emblem that said something about what it is. And we couldn't find anything. And I was like, man, this thing sat here for so long. It's been picked apart.
Yeah.
So we did that. And then we got up, wheeled up Observation, no problem, or up to Observation, no problem. And, we sat there for a second, and it was funny because Nate's like, every time I've wheeled the Rubicon, this is where I've camped. I'm
At
like,
Observation?
Yeah.
I
was like, why would you camp here?
Yeah, that's a bad spot to camp.
This is the worst. Like, there's a good spot just leaving Observation
on the left.
On the left there, where like I think JJ like puts a bunch of waters and stuff.
Yep.
But I was like, I wouldn't want to camp here. It's windy. He's like, it's never been windy when I've been here. And
Interesting.
I'm like,
lucky.
Every time I've been, it's windy right now. He's like, yeah, it's never been like this. I'm like, wow. Okay. And so at that point I was like, and I asked Richard, I'm like, where do you live? And he was like, I'm outside of Forest Hill. I was like, I'm going right past that on my way home. Why don't I just take you from this point?
Yeah.
And since, Nate and Kelly have done their videoing now, we've gotten to the top, it's fairly smooth on the way, from there out there's not too many obstacles. So why don't I just take him and I can drive him almost all the way home?
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, you don't mind? I'm like, I'm going that way anyway. Like, it's not a big deal. And Nate was like, yeah, that's perfect. If that works for you, then that's fine. And I was like, yeah, I mean, I'm leaving a little earlier than I had anticipated.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's not an issue. So we said our goodbyes. Nate shot a little semi-closing video because he's going to do a Rubicon Ford Ice video.
Okay.
Should be out next week.
Did they already do Ford Ice then?
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah, they did it. They did it over Labor Day weekend.
Okay.
Their game plan was to be off on Sunday.
Okay.
Of Labor Day weekend. Of the Toyota guys there was a bunch of people from Arizona. There was some people from Southern California. And one of the guys from SoCal was the guy that is the loose and lost.
Oh, yeah.
That does all those drawings and stickers. He was out there. So
nice.
it was good to meet him. And then there was a dude there. I didn't catch his name. He was from Florida. He drove his 1981 or 2 Toyota flatbed truck on like 37s from Florida across the country, 3,000 miles.
Yeah.
To wheel Rubicon and Ford Ice to drive home.
That's amazing.
That's nuts.
Toyota axles too and everything?
Yep, everything.
That's awesome.
Yeah, all Toyota axles,
That's
all
fucking
Toyota
great.
belt. Like pretty much a Bobcat for the most part, except an 80s series. I don't know if he went larger axle in the rear, but
should tell Mike Klein he needs to do that.
Yeah.
Come out from the East Coast or Florida Frank.
Bring your Deadpool truck.
Yeah.
That won an award. Congratulations, by the way. Yeah, Florida Frank. Bring that Mitsubishi out here. Let's have some fun. And a Sherpa.
Yeah, tell Sherpa he can.
You need to drive. You need to fly here. Drive your. What does he have? A YJ.
A YJ. Yep.
Back to Florida to drive it back here.
Yes.
To go wheel with us.
Yep.
But yeah, so that was pretty. I was like, holy crap.
He can't do that though because his wheels fall off when he drives.
I know. It's true. It's a YJ thing.
Sherpa.
So yeah, so then I wheeled out with Richard. And we had a fun conversation on the way back. Pretty uneventful. I mean, it was no issues. He was super cool with, he loved the Morphlate system when I air it up at the trailhead. I always drive onto the trailer and then like park the truck and then start airing the tires up there while I get all the straps and everything out. And that was a trick I learned from the Wheeling Wine and Whiskey podcast because they said you should always air your tires up because then it's squishy and it bounces. And it could break a strap or something. So I always air up the tires and he'd never seen the Morphlate system. So he was kind of impressed with that and was asking me a bunch of questions about him. Like, yeah, it's a local guy out of Sacramento, like they
weirdo.
Some weird guy. He made these things. They're really cool. Drove him back to the Forest Hill exit and dropped him off at the Rayleighs there. And his ex-wife, I think, picked him up. I wasn't there when he got picked up, but he was just like, no, somebody's on their way. I'll just hang out here. Don't worry about me. And I was like, okay.
Wow.
So then I drove home. Yeah. So that was my Rubicon trip.
Nice.
Yeah. So that was fun.
That sounds like a really fun day trip, man.
It was a pretty good day trip.
Yeah.
I wish I had a little bit more time to hang out with everybody instead of wheeling out immediately and, taking Richard out of there. But I had planned to leave about 5. So then I got off the trail before it got dark and I left about 4, so I wasn't too far off from when I was planning on leaving.
Yeah.
I also planned on Nate already being at Rubicon Springs by the time I got there.
Yeah.
But because he was helping Richard, he delayed a little bit. So
Richard.
I'm just kidding. That jerk. Nah. Let's see. So then a few days later, Labor Day week, or the next day, actually, Labor Day weekend started for us, and my family rents a cabin or a house. My parents rented a house down in Pajaro Dunes.
Oh.
Which is just south of Watsonville, California, which is a little ways south of Santa Cruz.
Oh, okay. Got it.
It's between Santa Cruz and Moss Landing, where the power station is.
Yep.
Yeah. And not terribly far from, you can see Moss Landing from the beach.
Oh.
It's over there by Sunset Beach.
Nice.
It's a fun spot. We've been going there for years. The assistant asked me, how long have you been coming here? And I was like, ooh, that's a good question. Because when I was a child, we went there, I think we said for about 10 years in a row. We would go to that beach. Different. It's all kind of I don't know if I would say it's a resort, but it's gated community. And then there's a chunk of condos on, that would be if you're looking at the ocean on the far right. And if you're then down the ocean towards Monterey is a bunch of like houses. And so we used to rent condos and stay in the condos with my grandma and my parents. And then my aunt, my mom's sister, lives in Watsonville. So we would go down to their area and that the whole family could hang out. When my grandma passed away, didn't go down there a whole lot. And then we went away to college, or I think we went into high school and then went into college and we didn't go. And then in the last like 6 years, we've been 3 times. So we're slowly starting to do this. Yeah. But now, I mean, in the last 6 years, my brother has been married and they have a child. And then I got married and now I have a kiddo. Right. And so the house still works well, but it's tight. Like there's enough beds for everybody. One of the rooms has like a full and bunk beds. And, so we threw the kids in there, and then my brother and sister-in-law slept in that room. And then the assistant and I slept in another room, and my parents slept in another room. So there's enough beds for everybody, but it's just, it's not a big house. Right. So but it's a beach house. So you're not in the house a lot. Like we're 100 yards from the stairs to go down to the beach.
Oh, wow.
You know, it was nice. And the waves there aren't fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
The water's cold. Mm-hmm. You know, the water's like
Pacific.
Maybe high 50s, low 60s.
Yeah.
But we have wetsuits, and we were out in the water on Saturday all day long, playing in the water, body surfing, boogie boarding. I thought my brother was going to bring the surfboard down, but he didn't. And not that it would, there's not really surfing waves there.
Yeah.
Anyways, their boogie boarding waves are okay. They just wall out. Like the whole waves crashes at the same time. So there's nowhere to go except straight at the beach.
Yeah.
So boogie boarding's more fun because surfing, you just fall off the face of the wave and crash and burn. And so, so Saturday we spent the whole day at the beach, lounged, relaxed. And I actually really didn't get that sunburnt on Saturday.
Yeah.
Because I swam around and was wearing my wetsuit for the vast majority of the day. Saturday night, we went over to my aunt's house and we had this fantastic dinner of mainly Italian food and some sausages, and for those that eat meat. And then there was we have the most screwed up dietary family. My sister-in-law is gluten-free and dairy-free.
Mm-hmm.
And then my wife is vegetarian, so she doesn't eat meat.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, what the hell do you cook for somebody?
Yeah.
With that, you're more or less cooking for somebody that can't eat grains, can't eat dairy, and can't eat meat.
Taco bar.
Yeah. So we did that on Sunday night, actually.
Yeah. That's my go-to with my family, because we have a few people that are gluten-free. We used to have somebody that was gluten-free, lactose intolerant, and a vegan.
Oh, geez.
I was like,
what do they eat?
Just cubes of tofu. Like, that was it. No, then we got gluten-free, lactose free people. And so having to make meals with my family too is always like, my go-to is a taco bar. I'm just like, you guys could choose whatever you want.
So we did that on Sunday actually. But so they made polenta, which is a corn-based, meal. And then they made a polenta that had cheese in it.
Ooh,
that was really nice. Mm-hmm. And then we had sausages so that the person that doesn't, the dairy-free one could have the polenta that doesn't have cheese. Everybody else could eat the one that has cheese. People that wanted to eat meat could have sausages. And then there was a bunch of different sauces to put on the polenta. And then there was different sides from breads to salads, some other stuff. It was a delicious meal. So we went over there, had dinner on Saturday night. Sunday, we spent the vast majority of the time at the beach. We went on a walk. We spent more time inside. I went out and body surfed and boogie boarded for like half an hour, 45 minutes. And I was like, I'm exhausted. I'm burnt out from yesterday. I'm still tired. So I came back in and shed the wetsuit. And then that's when I got fried, because I really didn't put any sunscreen on because I had the wetsuit on. I dug a hole. Then my nephew was having a blast in it. And he's like, dig it deeper. And so I was like, you got to get out of the hole. So then I started building stairs into this hole, and I kept digging it deeper. And eventually he's like, dig it deeper. And I'm like, I can't. I've hit water. Like, I dig deeper, and now the sides of the hole are collapsing in on itself because the water is seeping in through the sides, and it's just pulling the sand with it.
Yeah.
So eventually
I dug deep enough to hide a barbecue in?
Oh yeah. Plenty deep. So at the end of the day, I felt I didn't want to leave the deep hole there. So I started to bury it and fill it in a little bit. And I was like, hey, G-Man, jump into the hole. And then I started burying him. And he was like, hey, stop it. And I got up to his knees. He's like, I can't move. And I was like, well, just stand there. I'm gonna bury you. And it
just making my head.
I got up to his chest and his arms were still out. I was like, all right, see you later. And he's like, I can't get out. I'm like, well, don't worry. High tide will be here in a few hours, and he's like, oh my gosh, no, you got to get me out of here. And I was like, okay. I'm like, you can't just wiggle around and make enough room for you to get out. He's like, no.
Yeah. Like, sand and wet, especially if it's damp at all.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, all right. And so I started like shoveling right at him, like shoveling into his chest. He's like, watch it. I'm like, I've got to dig you out. Like, eventually I got down to his hips, and then I was able to like pull him forward and get him out. But that was kind of funny. And he was laughing, and he laughed about it all the rest of the night. He's like, yeah, Uncle buried me, like, it was pretty fun.
If you don't die, then it makes a great story.
Exactly.
So,
yeah. He enjoyed it. And so that night we had taco bar. We had a few drinks. There was a puzzle out. We were motivated to try and finish this puzzle. I worked on it for an hour or more and then gave up. I'm like, I'm done. The wine hit me pretty hard, not in a sickness way, but it just made me tired. And I was like, I'm done. I'm going to bed. I went to bed like 10:30 or something. They stayed up for a while longer. Next day we just packed up. The assistant and mini assistant and I went out to the beach, hung out there for like another hour or so, and then drove home.
Nice.
Yeah. So it was a good weekend. I did get burnt on front and rear. So it was haven't slept the best of the last few nights just because I get hot from the sunburn and being under sheets. And if I take the sheet off, then I get cold and this no happy medium there. So, but it was a good Labor Day. So how was your Labor Day? Did you do anything?
I got a lot of work done around the house. It's pretty much getting some projects done and knocked out while I was waiting for the 4Runner, because Ori told me that he was going to have the 4Runner for me this last weekend ready.
Yeah.
To be picked up, but he didn't say what day.
Okay.
So I wasn't sure if I was going to get it on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or Monday. So I just kind of left the whole weekend open because I know that there's some things I need to do still in order to get it ready for Rubiton on Wednesday.
Yeah. You're leaving on Wednesday, but the run starts on Thursday.
Thursday morning. I think wheels up at 7 a.m. from the spillway. So I was like, well, I'm just going to leave the weekend open, see when I get it. And I had other little projects that I've been putting off for a while. And so finally I was like, well, let's just start working on those projects. The big one I needed to get done was build a new shelf for the garage. Oh. Because I had a big
you had a big box and
giant box in there.
Yeah, crate. You had a huge crate,
huge shipping crate.
For the most part, it held something semi-sentimental to the secretary.
Yes,
but you got it out of your garage and moved it onto the shelves here in the shop.
Yeah, it's up on the pallet racking in the shop now, and so I needed to build a shelf there so that the wife can have her own shelf for decorations to store house decorations in. And so I picked up a bunch of pallets. So there's over near the warehouse, the Morphlate warehouse, there's a bathroom supply warehouse that does like bathtubs and showers and countertops and sinks, everything you could do for bathroom remodels, right?
So they get pallets galore.
So they get a ton of these big pallets, and it looks like the pallets are made fresh specifically for whatever gets shipped with them. And so I was like, well, it's like literally, I measured it out. It was 18 feet by 9 feet.
Wow.
Like a pallet that's 9 by 18. Yeah.
That's huge.
Yes. So I'm pretty sure they're shipping like full whirlpools and maybe hot tubs kind of thing like that. But I was like, man, if I can just get like one of those and cut it down.
It's bigger than my trailer.
Yes. I had to cut it down in the parking lot to fit it in the truck. So I stacked these pallets up. I had, I don't know, 5-6 sections of pallets stacked up in my truck, drove it back home. And so I was like, man, this is all sweet lumber and it's all free. I just have to process it all and get it, torn apart in order to build into the shelf. So I was working on doing all of that, and MF or Ryan reached out to me. He goes, hey, do you think we can finish my third member this weekend? And I was like, oh fuck, that's right. We hadn't finished that yet. Because we got it all dialed in stat wise and spec wise, but we didn't have the pinion seal. Thank you. And so we were waiting on a new pinion seal to come in. We got that in a while ago and just haven't come back to finish it up. So I was like, you know what, just come on over. I can we can get it done really quick. All we have to do is put the pinion seal in. So when we put the pinion seal in, all of a sudden the pinion preload was way too high.
Interesting.
And I was like, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
There's no reason whatsoever why the pinion preload should be higher with the pinion seal in. No. We greased it and everything.
Anything, it should be a little less because maybe you didn't account for the space for the seal.
But there's no, the seal sits around the pinion. It doesn't take any depth from the pinion bearings.
Maybe the seal is putting friction on the pinion and causing drag.
It was all greased. I don't know what it was, but it was like way higher than it should be. And I was like, maybe we just didn't have it spec'd properly before. I don't know. So anyways, we took the pinion apart, added in a couple more shims for the pinion preload.
Did it have a crush sleeve?
No, we did solid spacer.
Okay.
So
I was going to say, there's the...
I know, right? The crush sleeve, we just tightened it too much.
Yeah.
We did a solid spacer, so we just added 7 thousandths, 7,500 thousandths, 75 thousandths,
something like that.
Whatever it was, we added in there, and then it came out specking out perfectly.
Cool.
So got that all done, and then let's see from there. Then Ryan left and I was able to work on the shelf more and process all the wood. And in hindsight, I think it would have just been better to just go buy the lumber. Processing and tearing apart pallets, pain in the ass.
Right. Yeah.
So
I did see an Instagram reel of a hack on how to tear apart pallets.
Oh, really?
And it was using a, I forgot what the scissor jack. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Those kinds that expand out. And you shove that under between the boards by like one of the 4x4s or whatever, or 2x4.
Yep.
And then you just use a, impact or a drill or whatever. And then that will separate the boards.
Yeah.
One way or another. And I was like, oh, that's kind of clever.
Yeah.
Because I do have a lot of pallets at my house and I've been thinking of utilizing the pallets, like the, whatever they are, the 3/4 inch by 3 inch or whatever.
Inch,
top parts as a decorative wall. Like I want to lay them all out in the sun and have them get sun baked. And then hopefully they'll somewhat be different colors. And then I want to make like a wall in the shop that will have the pieces of wood on it.
Yep. Yeah, you can do that. But like the top side of pallets has like 10 or 12 slats on it, and the bottoms only has like 3 or 4.
Right.
So you can only do that for 3 or 4 of them, and you still have to pound out the rest.
Yeah.
So I grabbed my favorite tool.
You're dead below. No, the mini sledge, the
drill hammer.
Drill hammer. There it is.
3-pound drill hammer, and went to town on just beating the boards into submission like a redheaded stepchild. So got them all processed and then built a shelf out of it that was 6 feet tall, 6 feet long, and 2.5 feet deep.
Okay.
So it gave me 3 shelves, and I tucked it back in the corner in the garage, put all of the sleeping camping stuff, so tents, cots, mattresses, all that went on top of the shelf, on the top shelf. And then I put all of the decorations into the shelf. And then I had space left over on the old decoration / camping / yard tool shelf to put all of the chairs.
Okay.
I have a lot of camping chairs. I didn't realize I had that many. So,
well, I don't know if you ever returned any, but I know you went on a shopping spree to find your perfect camping chair. Yes. And I don't know if
I did return those ones from the shop. The what was it? The camping chair tryouts.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was. I did return all those. I have the 2 recliners, the hammock chair, and then 2 mini chairs and 2 more regular chairs. And then I have the tables. So I've got the big table and the small table.
And how many of those are U-line?
Only 1.
Oh, okay.
Although I'm going to get another hammock chair.
Are you?
I love that hammock chair. It's so nice. So I'm going to...
The one thing I don't like about the hammock chair is you need a hammock footstool.
It needs a footstool in it for sure. Yeah. So I'll need to figure out how to do that, how to make one.
I agree.
But yeah, so I'm going to get another hammock chair on my next U-line order. But yeah, chairs are up there. I have a place for the new chainsaw as well to live. And then there's like a bunch of extra storage space now still. Cool. So I can fill in with other crap later on.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Maybe I can get my transmission off of the floor now and put it up in there. We'll see. Anyways, got the shelf built. That was fun. Finished up the 3rd member. That was fun. I did a bulkhead pass through for the trailer for the solar wiring.
Okay.
The solar and the exterior lights that go underneath the awning.
Yeah.
So they don't have to go and route through the top of the door anymore.
Sure.
So I did, that came out super clean. While I was drilling the hole, I went through and hit a wire.
Oh no.
I have no clue what that wire was for. No clue whatsoever.
It was a random wire inside.
A random wire in the ceiling. And then I traced it. I pulled the paneling down from the ceiling and traced the wire over, and it goes behind the insulation on the wall and goes down. But I'm like, there's nothing on that side of the trailer that this wire should go to. Nothing whatsoever. I'm like, what is this wire? And I tested the wire. There's no power going to it, but I drilled right through it. So I'm like, ghost wire. Everything works in the trailer right now.
Next time you use the trailer, you'll figure it out.
Exactly. I'm
like your left blinker's not going to work.
Right. But all the blinkers and the taillights and everything comes from underneath and then goes up the other wall. So I'm like, I have no clue what this wire is for. It's a ghost wire.
Dome light.
I don't know.
Okay.
So everything in the trailer works right now. So I'm like, all right, whatever. I pulled the old vent out because I lost the cover. The cover blew off of it.
Yep.
And I can't find a cover that fits that vent. So I'm just going to put a new vent in. So I pulled the whole vent out, and there's a towel covering it right now. I completely cleaned out the trailer because it was all covered in dust from the Sierra Trek trip because there was no cover on top. So I got all that cleaned out. Let's see, what else did I do? Oh, because I had all of this pallet wood now, I was like, I need to get rid of all the pallet wood. And I have this really awesome new stainless steel fire pit.
Oh, yeah. I saw videos of that.
I was like, let's get this thing rip roaring and see how it does.
Yeah.
So I was like, how do I get this to the backyard?
Roll it.
The pit. Well, that's how I got it out of the truck.
Yeah.
So to get it out of the truck, I took I have the 37-inch Yokohamas at home right now. And so I rolled the fire pit out of the truck into the tires.
Sure.
And then pushed out of those two tires into one tire, and then rolled it off of that tire onto the ground, and then rolled it into the garage. But I can't roll it through the doorway to get to the backyard.
Is it? And if you stood it up, is it too fat?
No, it'll go through if I stood it up, but it weighs like 180 pounds.
So lift it up.
Yeah. Okay. And it's just this giant globe. So there's no way to lift it up really. There's no way to grab onto it.
Yeah.
To drag it or lift it or anything.
Okay.
And so I was like, I had some chain. And so I welded some chain to the back side of the globe. So I had a handle on the back side, then kind of just the lip on the front side to grab and drag with. And turns out, I can just drag it using the chain. Just lift up from the backside and drag it as I'm waddling backwards into the backyard. So I got it into the backyard by doing that. And then I throw in a bunch of packing paper from Amazon orders, Amazon shipments, and threw all that in, threw a pizza box on top of it, and then just stacked a bunch of the pallet wood in there. And what's really nice about that setup is there's slots all around because it's this hex. Yeah. It's like a giant soccer ball, right? It's put together, uses hexagonal patterns.
But there's like a 1/4-inch gap between almost every single one of the hexes.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's got a ton of air.
It gets a ton of airflow, and you can light stuff in it really easy. So I just took the propane torch and stuck it in the slats at the bottom, lit the packing paper on fire, and it just all went up super quick.
Cool.
And that thing roars. It is awesome. The airflow in it is beautiful. It burns super clean, very, very little smoke once it gets going. And the fire just comes out of like all the little cracks at the top of it and out the front door of it. And it was cool. I'm really happy with the fire pit right now. Yeah. So I burned about half of the wood that night. And then let's see, that was Sunday night. And then Monday, I got to go pick up the 4Runner.
Yeah.
Yep. So 4Runner is in my possession officially.
Okay.
It looks so good.
So you went over and picked Hussman up first?
I did, yeah.
And then you went to their shop out in Lincoln somewhere?
Mm-hmm. It's actually like 5 minutes from 4Runner Dave's house.
Oh.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
interesting.
If you've been to 4Runner Dave's house, his new place.
Once or twice.
Yeah. It's like 5 minutes from there.
Okay.
So we realized that as we were getting up there, Hussman was like, "Oh, we're near Dave's."
Oh,
I was like,
interesting.
"No way." I was like, "See if he's home. We can go by and say hi to him." Say hi to him and Jackie and the girls.
Yeah.
And, so we ended up texting Dave and he's like, "Yeah, I'm off. Come on by. The gate's open."
Nice. Okay.
So we picked up the 4Runner and kind of went over stuff with Ori, and it's flexing out. He said it's flexing really, really well. And it does. I'm getting 43 inches of space under the tires when flexing it out on a forklift.
Dang.
Yeah.
Which means you'll get more out on the trail. For some reason they'd never work the same. Yeah.
Yeah. So in comparison, before, the 4Runner was getting 30 inches under the rear tire and 28 inches under the front tire.
Wow.
And now I'm getting 43.
That's awesome.
I'm so excited. So,
yeah. I think once Tyler actually gets the runner running, we'll go over all the stats.
Yes. Yeah. I still have the before stats, and then I'll bring it into the warehouse and get after stats of all the same stuff. And then we'll give you guys comparisons on what it all sits out at.
Yeah. Sounds good. But you have a lot of work and able to go to the Rubiton. So,
yeah.
Okay. So you picked up the 4Runner.
Yep.
And then did you go over to Dave's?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we went and said hi to Dave afterwards.
Okay. But so before that, I guess, did Ori tell you anything specific that?
Not really. He said it should be all good to go. All the clearances are great. He said, if anything, I might rub a tiny, tiny bit once under forced articulation. But he said we can either try and clearance it a little bit more. We had to cut my rear fenders all the way up to the gas cap.
Yeah, I saw the video.
So there's no fender underneath the gas cap anymore.
Right.
So he said if we need to go any further, that we will probably just need to limit the bump stop a little bit more.
Right. That makes sense.
Yeah. We might have to. He said I have about 5 inches of up travel.
Wow.
But we measured it, and it's measuring at about 3.5 from ride height. So I'm like, I'm curious to where he's getting his measurements from.
Yeah.
But anyways, 3.5 is still a lot more than the 1/2 inch of up travel I used to have.
Right. Yes.
So I'm excited about having a little bit more up travel now, because I'm going to be going to the Baja 1000 this year.
Whoa. Okay.
So I'm taking the 4Runner back down to Baja.
Wow.
For a similar trip to what I did when I first got it.
Cool.
Yeah, so it'll be fun to see the comparisons and see if I can go through 4 to 5 foot whoops faster than 7 miles an hour now.
You're going to go 8
miles an hour, 8.5. So anyways, that'll be a lot of fun. We got the runner back, and I got it back.
How'd you get it on the trailer?
We winched it. So we used a pulley on the front rail of the trailer, and then Alex used his truck to winch it off of the pulley. Just winched it right up.
Okay.
So that went really smooth, getting it up there. Getting it off the trailer was fun. Hussman pretty much just pushed it off backwards while I was in the cab to make sure I didn't go rolling down the street.
And you used your manual brakes at that point to try to stop you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Manual brakes worked great.
Cool.
So yeah, the brakes worked awesome. It was kind of fun getting it off the trailer, but that worked out pretty smooth. And then let's see. So I got it back Monday evening is when I got it back to my place. Rubiton, I wanted to be up at Loon Lake Wednesday afternoon for dinner.
Yes.
So what I still need to do is drive shafts. I need drive shafts made.
Oh, okay.
Front and rear. And I need oil in the diffs. And then I have a lot of electronics to do. I need to get the engine running, which means I need the main engine harness, the starter, and the welder all wired up.
Right. Because you have a Premier welder and it's wired in the mix of all that.
Yeah. The Premier welder runs in line with your whole engine, your whole car's electrical system.
Correct. Yeah.
So I need to get those 3 things up and running, and then I need lockers. So I've got 5 things I need to get wired up and running in order to go to Rubiton.
Okay.
In order to do all that, I need to find a spot for the battery.
Yep.
Because what I'm doing is I'm going from 2 red top batteries, which are AGM, about 60 amp hours each. So about 120 amp hours of battery in AGMs. I'm going from that to a 135 amp hour lithium battery.
Wow. That
has 1,000 cranking amps.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
It is a lot. I think the 4Runner only needs like 600 cranking amps.
Wow. Okay.
650, somewhere around there. So
did you get that yet? Because I know one of the last times we were talking, you're like, oh, I need to order that.
I did. So I ordered it on Thursday, I think, last week.
Sure.
It's from Dakota Lithium.
Okay.
It's a really sweet battery. It has a self heater in it.
Nice.
So I'll be able to use it in snow wheeling and snow camping.
Okay.
It's good because like the big problem with lithium is once it gets below freezing, 35 degrees, 32 degrees right in there, the BMS shuts off the battery because lithium does not like running cold like that.
Yeah.
And so this battery specifically has a heater built into it that it'll sustain itself down to like negative 20 degrees
Holy cow.
Fahrenheit.
Wow.
Yeah. This is the one I wanted, and it'll be interesting. It'll take a charge up to 150 amps. You can wire it directly to your alternator. You don't have to use a DC to DC charger with it. It charges 5 times faster than AGMs do. It'll take the charge.
Dang.
Okay. And because it's lithium, it'll run twice as much amp hours, twice as long usable amp hours as AGMs
That's
do.
neat.
So really going from 2 red tops to this one lithium, I'm doubling the power of my 2 red tops.
Yeah.
Which is already doubled from a single AGM.
Right.
So I'm really like going to this one lithium battery. I'm quadrupling the amount of power
a standard
of a standard AGM off-road battery.
Right.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's going to be phenomenal. My only concern is winching.
Mm-hmm.
Because the battery lithiums don't like to do sustained high output.
Okay.
On the power, the amp draw off of the battery. So it can do 150 amp draw sustained, no problem. But winches can pull upwards of 400 amps.
Sure.
Under full complete load, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm hoping that the alternator, the Premier alternator is a 165 amp alternator. So that'll take a lot of the power of the draw of the winch, and then the battery will take another 150. So I can get up to about 300 amps, which is less than what a winch will pull under full complete draw. So I'm hoping that's my only concern.
Hoping you're not going to kill your battery.
I'm hoping that I don't burn the rig down under a really high stress winching scenario.
Sounds like you're going to need some shackles or pulleys.
I'll just have to make sure I'm using snatch blocks and pulleys whenever I'm doing winching. Yeah, exactly.
Just make it easier.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I'm going to put the 12K super winch on the Forerunner.
Okay.
So that it has a higher load that it can do, because the difference between the 10 and the 12K is just the gearing and the planetaries. So I'll do that. And then I'll just make sure anytime I'm winching that I'll be using a snatch block or a pulley to decrease the load on the winch.
Got it.
Yeah.
Cool.
But anyway, so I got to get that battery in there.
Yeah.
The only spot I can find that I would want it to be, because I'm not going to put the battery under the chassis.
Okay.
I don't want a lithium battery exposed under the vehicle. So I'm going to put it in the back cargo area. In order to put it in the back cargo area, I'm going to run a really fat wire all the way to the engine bay, and then have all of my fuses and everything there at the engine bay with like 150, 200 amp breaker. I might have to go bigger than that because the alternator will run. I'll probably go to 300 amp breaker.
Dang.
Back at the battery.
Yeah.
So I'll have one fat load wire going up to the engine bay with 1, 2, 3, 4 fuse boxes and the engine fuse box up in the engine bay, and run everything off of the engine bay again. So I got to redo all the electronics again for the vehicle. But it should be a lot cleaner this time, more stable. But I really, in order to make Rubiton happen, I need to get those 5 things up and running.
Got it.
Before Wednesday evening.
Dang. So it sounds like I need to do some work on Bobcat so you can take Bobcat with you.
I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, we'll see.
That, or we need to say goodbye right now.
Yeah. I'm going to try and dip out early today, and then I might not come into work tomorrow.
Yeah.
I did get fully caught up with work. I woke up at 3 a.m. this morning.
Oh, dang.
And so I got
stressing.
I'm just like, I got a lot to do. I need to get up. I need to get going. Let's do it. Come on.
Yeah.
So I got all my work done before 8 a.m. today, knowing we were going to be recording today. So as soon as we're done recording, I'm going to dip out, run home, see what work I can do.
Yeah. I think your long tail is the drive shafts.
I think so as well. I talked to SAC Driveline.
Okay.
So Driveline Services of Sacramento is their official name. Fucking awesome shop.
Yeah, they are.
They do some great work. They've I messed up the measurements of the last drive shaft I had with them, and they very well could have been like, you gave us the wrong measurements. You know, we were going to pay you. You're going to have to pay to get it redone again.
Yeah.
But they redid it free of charge.
That's cool of them.
Really cool. Parts Mike is the owner.
Yep.
So if anybody knows Parts Mike out there, the website, it's a big old, retail shopping for different parts for builder axles and off-road parts and whatever you're looking for. He owns Sack Driveline now. And so he was there one day when I was originally getting that last drive shaft made and chatting with him about the axles I was building. And he's really the one that talked me into going with Super Duty outers.
Okay.
Rather the 05 and up Super Duty outers rather than the 99 to 04s.
Mm-hmm.
And so he gave me his number in case I had any questions about building the axles and stuff. Cause he's done a lot of build. He's used to be the builder axle builder for the Gomez's.
Right.
And so, I had shot him some text messages from time to time, and I shot him a text message this weekend. I was like, hey, I'm in a pickle. You can totally tell me to fuck off.
Yeah.
But I'm just curious if I can get you the measurements and everything that we need for a couple of drive shafts made Tuesday morning when you guys open, because it's Labor Day. Can you have it done by Wednesday afternoon? I was like, I'm willing to pay for expedited and everything. He goes, yeah, no problem. No need for expedited. Just get there right when we open, be first in line. And we have the workflow right now. We should be able to make that happen. No problem.
Shit.
I was
That's
like,
awesome.
You guys are fucking amazing.
Wow.
So
cool.
They opened at 8. I was there at 7:40 this morning and they opened a little early. I went in, talked to Kenny and Hank and Al. And they were like, yeah, shouldn't be a problem. We should be able to knock it all out. So it's going to be some fun drive shafts made with Tundra flanges on one end and Toyota mini truck transfer case ends on the other with double cardons.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, but they said they'll get it out Wednesday afternoon. So
sweet. Okay.
So really it's up to me to get the electronics done and then cross my fingers that they will meet their time deadline, but they always have in the past. They've never missed a time deadline when they've told me.
So when did you get the measurements for the front drive line?
I got them Friday night.
Okay.
And then they weren't open on the weekend because of Labor Day weekend.
Yeah.
So I got them Friday night, gave them the measurements.
Got it.
And then this morning.
And so you got those from Ori telling you the max and mins?
Yep.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, I've got max and mins from Ori. And then I had to get the measurements for the Tundra flange, the hole pattern in the flanges. Yeah. So yeah, but they have it all. And they said, yeah, should be no problem. It makes, they understand what they're doing.
Yeah.
And I was like, sweet, you guys are awesome.
That's cool. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, that's good to hear. I'm excited to hear, I guess, next Thursday, if you make it.
Mm-hmm. We'll see. Yeah, my only concern about this whole thing is that I'm not going to have recovery points.
Sure.
I'm not going to have any bumpers on the rig and I don't have any recovery points on it. So I'm really hoping I don't need any recovery points. I'm like, I know the trail really well. I know what lines I can and can't take. I know where the easy lines are and I'll stick to the easy lines.
Yeah, this is your test run out on the Rubicon.
And I'm leading. I'm one of the leaders of the run. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. That's going to be fun. And we'll hear all about that on next Thursday's a week from today. We'll see if he made it with Kermit or if he stole Bobcat.
Yep.
We'll find out. So that'll be fun. Cool. Exciting.
Yeah. So that was my weekend. I'm stressed out a little bit now that I'm talking more about it, but I think it'll be doable.
All right.
I just need those 5 things. And it's pretty simple. Everything else I can worry about later.
Yeah.
So
yeah. No horn.
Yeah, no horn, no siren, no stereo inside.
Oh, Bluetooth speaker.
Bluetooth speaker with a Wonder Boom.
Yeah, that thing worked pretty good when we went out.
Yeah, I was impressed with it.
MCR. Yeah, that was pretty good. Cool. Well, that sounds like a fun weekend for you. It was definitely a fun weekend for me. Nice. A little relaxing. My parents did say like, hey, we understand if you can't make this family trip because you need to work on your house. Like we get it. Like we're taking you away for like 4 days. Like we follow you. We're like, no, we need a break.
Yeah. We need to get out.
We need to get out. So it was a good little vacation, little break for us to mentally relax. And then, on the drive home on Monday, we were like, here's all the shit we need to get done on the house before we do our move in. So that's a full bore for us is our game plans to move in at the end of this month.
Nice.
Yeah. And we still have quite a bit to do. So yeah, so that'll be fun. But if anybody has any questions in regards to Tyler's build, feel free to reach out to him. He's on Instagram, 4x4 Toyota Tyler.
Mm-hmm.
I'm over there at Snail Trail 4x4. If you want to tell me how to build a house, you can do that. You can reach out on email, Jimmy or Tyler at Snail Trail 4x4, or you can call in one of our Florida friends. You guys should call in and tell us that you're going to drive your rig across country. That phone number is area code 916-345-4744.
I like it. I like it a lot.
I actually have two.
You have your hand up.
I have
Jimmy.
two more announcements that we have forgotten to say. Winch's deadline for if you haven't bought your winch.
Oh yeah.
Is the Monday after, is this upcoming Monday.
Yep.
So if you put in an order with Tyler for your winch, you need to get it paid before Monday.
Everybody should have payment URLs and payments have all gone out.
Correct.
Or at least requests for payments have all gone out. There's one person who is an exception to that. They came in late and I was waiting to see if we had an extra winch for them.
Okay.
Which we do. So I emailed him, Scott Salzberg. Anyway, Scott, you should have an email in your inbox with a request for information for shipping details so I can get you your payment URL.
Cool. And the other point of information is the Moose Knuckle group buy. If you guys want to get in for that, email Tyler at snailtrail4x4.com. So we can just get a rough idea of our numbers and what we want to, how many people are going to be interested in what we're going to buy. So then we can talk to Kyle over there and find out the deals that we can be getting.
We already have the deals.
We got it.
Talked with Kyle.
Sweet.
We have a lot of people interested in that. It's going to be cool. We're going to sell a lot of jowls and mostly everybody's wanting the jowls, which is what I really want too.
Yeah.
But Kyle said we can do 30% off.
Okay.
So if you guys are perusing Moose Knuckles website, we can do 30% off site-wide for the group buy. So you can figure that out on the pricing, figure out what you want, email me a complete list of what you want with the colors you want, because that's the big thing that can get confusing is there's a lot of different colors, options available with these jowls. So let me know what you want. I'm keeping a list and we'll start putting it all together here. And I don't know what time I'm going to be gone most of the month. So let's just say by the end of the month. We'll close out the group by end of September and we'll start working on getting everything ordered with Kyle in October.
Sounds good.
Cool.
All right. Now I am done.
Okay. Any final words for everybody, Mr. Dunn?
Aloe.
And with that, my friends, keep crawling.
I got one for you.
You don't even have a notepad out.
I don't.
What do you got there, buddy?
Have you ever seen an elephant hiding in a tree?
Yes, I have.
Have you?
Uh-huh.
Really?
Yeah, it was a stuffed elephant.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Most people haven't.
Oh, okay.
It's because they're really good at hiding.
Yeah. That's a raft guide joke.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Got it. Do you know why elephants paint their nuts red?
No. I haven't heard this one, okay.
So they can hide in cherry trees.
Perfect. Is there more? Is there more coming?
Do you know what the loudest noise in the jungle is?
What?
Monkeys trying to eat cherries.
Okay, that's a good one. I'm happy. I haven't heard that series before. Those are good. Oh, man. Okay. Oh,
You're still thinking about cherries.
I'm just thinking of these elephant balls hanging in a tree and monkeys slapping them or something. Anyways, welcome one, welcome all to the Snail Trail 4x4 podcast.
You got to start over.
You got to start. You're not going to edit that?
No, I've got to do another one. I can't have you telling everybody the joke at the start.
Why? It's like Tarantinoing it.
Kind of.